games in this week. And well, the biggest takeaway is Chelsea is consolidated and Liverpool has floundered. And while Rohan is definitely happy that both his Manchester clubs are somewhere in the Champions League reckoning, but we have to start with Liverpool. Rohan, in all the shows we've often spoken about how long can Liverpool sustain this. Looks like they're finally properly out of steam. They're 6th in the table, lost to Hull, and now it looks like maybe Champions League won't happen.
It's all about momentum. We spoke about how missing Mane during the African Cup of Nations would hurt them, and it has, because what it's done is it not only took away points in terms of points dropped and results not going their way, but it's taken away momentum. Right. It's been an awful 2017 for Liverpool. The way they came up to, the way they started last season, going up to 2016, at one stage they looked like they'd be there or thereabouts to fight for the title. But I think that dream has died. I think that dream of them winning the title this year has died. I mean, if they can win the title, United can. There's not much difference between United and Liverpool at the moment. So you've got to say it's been a miserable 2017 for Liverpool fans. They're out of any cup tournament. The chances of winning any silverware this year is gone. Will coming in the top 4 count as success, as a successful season? I think it probably will. Because if you had asked any Liverpool fans at the start of the season, what would be your number one priority? They would have said, qualifying for Champions League. But sometimes your expectations rise as to the start you have to the season, and the expectations had gone up. We had Rajiv, who's a die-hard Liverpool fan, coming in and saying, look, the way the season's gone, he didn't care if Liverpool came in the top 4 as long as they won the league. I mean, if it wasn't number 1, they could be number 6 for all he cared. Because he felt this was the best chance that Liverpool had to win the league. Pretty much like Arsenal. I think Arsenal last season, when Leicester won, it baffles me as to how they didn't go and buy a striker in the December window, because I thought that was their best chance to win the league. But they blew that chance up. And again, with Liverpool, they're going to rue the fact that maybe they didn't strengthen in the December transfer window, thinking that they had a squad which was big enough. Maybe Klopp felt that he had enough players at his disposal which might step up, but that hasn't happened.
No, in fact, if you see the big losses that have really hurt Liverpool have come against relegation threatened team. Well, there was Bournemouth, which was a good game, but Swansea and Hull, both those losses just make you realize that that is not a league-winning team.
No, look, with Swansea, honestly, when it became 2-2, at that point I thought the only team that would go on to win from here on is Liverpool. In the last 15 minutes, I thought, look, Liverpool are going to win this game. I think it's 2-2 now, momentum, pressure. Can Swansea live up with that? I doubted it. But then, boom, sucker punch, and, Swansea scored the 3rd goal. So, look, you're right. Again, maybe towards the end of the game, Liverpool just feeling the fact that it's halfway through the season. And, to be honest, you can't really give fitness or tiredness as an excuse, because they're not playing in any other tournaments. They don't have midweek games, so they get enough rest. What will happen to them when they qualify for Europe next year, whether it's in the Champions League or Europa League? That means more games, more midweek games, less time to prepare. They'll definitely have to strengthen the squad this summer.
I think injuries is one thing. Obviously, players missing out was another. But this time you have Mane back, you have Firmino, and all of them don't seem to be clicking like they were. In fact, they haven't won a league game this year. While the game against Chelsea, you could say they did manage to stop Chelsea at a 1-1 draw, which could have been a positive had they not gone on and lost to Hull.
Well, it could have been, but also, the fact that, at the end of the game, Costa's penalty was saved, and all, they could have lost that game as well. But you take the positives out of it. You say, look, we've got a credible draw against Chelsea. But if I was a Liverpool fan, the draw did me no good. It was a must-win game. A draw serves no purpose, because look, like I said, if you're trying to win the title, you have to. It was a 6-pointer, so to speak, and they drew the game. But then to go ahead and the very nice game to lose to Hull. Look, it like I said, it's been a miserable 2017 for Liverpool fans.
Right.
I can't stop smiling.
Very happy while
I can't stop
that.
smiling.
But no, well, we have to talk about the team for whom 2017 has been just like 2016 Chelsea. A 9-point lead at the top. Well, and they beat Arsenal, where it all started for them this season.
Look, them beating Arsenal was never in doubt. It was never in doubt, because that's what Arsenal does. And it's that month. It's February. Arsenal, unfortunately for Arsenal, February has been their bugbear month because they come, they drop points, they haven't really, and it's not just the Chelsea game. I mean, if you have a look, they've dropped points against Watford as well.
Watford before this,
so
right?
look, again, really bad game week for Arsenal. Excellent game week for Chelsea. Like you said, consolidate their position at the top. The lead has gone much higher. But Arsenal, I mean, what do you say about Arsenal? Again, it's peak Arsenal because now you've got everyone, Wenger out. You've got your Arsenal fans divided. There's Wenger obviously has his own firm supporters who say, no, are you crazy? What's wrong with you guys? What will happen to the club when Wenger leaves? Look at what happened to United when Ferguson left after 26 years. Do we have an able replacement? Who's going to come in place of Wenger? Are there any managers out there available? Simeone next season, he said that he wants to leave Atletico Madrid. Can he be the guy to come in place of Wenger? That remains to be seen. But you need to look, Wenger out is great, but you need to have an able replacement lined up. With United, when Ferguson left, they thought Moyes was the man, but clearly he wasn't. And then they bungled up by getting Louis van Gaal again. And again, finally, I think they've got the right manager. So Arsenal need to learn from United and get the right manager in at the very first attempt.
And England is no easy place.
If they get rid of Wenger, that is.
No, and England is no easy place for a manager. We've seen just this season how difficult it has been. Klopp is furious.
Conte is going to disagree with you. He's just come in and he's breezing through to the title.
Conte has made Stamford Bridge and anomaly completely different. But Klopp's furious. His normally smiling face is crumbling.
No, but look, again, Klopp gets so much goodwill. It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, if you had Mourinho, in the fourth official's face like that, spitting, spitting when he's just screaming in his face. Can you imagine the bad press that Mourinho would have got? But with Klopp, goes there, smiles, and then in his press interviews, he's smiling, giving that goofy look and saying, I was saying no one can beat us, and he's smiling, laughing, joking about it. At some point, people are going to see through it. I think it's great PR from Klopp. I think, and that's what you want. Look, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd want to see my manager getting all riled up. When Mourinho gets sent to the stands, there's a lot of hue and cry about, Mourinho, what's he doing here, what's his behavior. I want to see that. Ferguson used to do that all the time. He used to berate the referees, he used to be screaming, shouting. You want your manager to be passionate. If I was a Liverpool fan, I would be over the moon to see Klopp in the fourth referee's face saying, listen, what's going on? I want to see that. His PR is excellent. I think the way Klopp handles the media is top quality. Pep Guardiola, when he first came to England, he had a lot of goodwill. A lot of people saying, oh, Pep, blah, 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 blah. Midway through the season, results not going his way, and you saw a surly Pep. You saw someone who was, giving monosyllabic answers. You're saying, you do what you want, yes, no, not, being very rude with the media. And that goodwill's gone now. Now, Pep Guardiola again it came in, firm favorite of the media, but that again is washing. I think we'll see that with Klopp as well.
Well, that's interesting because, speaking of Mourinho, it's quite a full circle for him because last year when he played Leicester as Chelsea's manager, it was the curtain call. This time, United have just, produced this magical performance. I am quoting Rohan. But, after a draw against Hull, which was could have been, a deadlock, a stopper in momentum.
Yeah.
Well, the 3 goals, they were pretty superlative, I must say.
Well, I thought Mkhitaryan's goal first up was needed. I think it was needed because I think United need that first goal just to calm nerves down because there have been too many draws, too many nil-nils. Once they've been playing. As a fan, I'm happy in the direction that they're going, the progress that they've made over the last 3 years and over these 6 months. Clearly, the title's out of contention right now. We're not going to win the title this year. But top 4 is again right there. You're just 2 points behind Liverpool. It's top 4 is right there right now for United. Because if you look at momentum, you look at 2 teams which are going in an upwardly direction, that's City and United, and 2 teams which are going in the opposite direction are Arsenal and Liverpool. Arsenal and Liverpool want to change that around. They'll want to sort of get back to winning ways, put pressure on each other. I think now the race for top 4 is far more interesting than the race for the title. I think
that is a foregone conclusion by now.
Because again, if you look at Spurs, I think Spurs will be right there in the top 4. So basically, you've got 4 teams fighting for 2 spots. And which are these 4 teams? These are Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United.
Yeah,
big teams.
Right.
Big teams fighting for these 2 spots. So you'll be Could it be that Arsenal actually miss out on Champions League for the first time under Wenger? Pep Guardiola comes in with such a big reputation. Could he miss out? Could United miss out again 2 years on the trot on Champions League? Or, Liverpool, who were in such a good position at the start of the season, halfway through the season, could they miss out? Because at one point we were saying Liverpool are favourites for the title. So it's been that kind of season. So look, I think that race is going to be more keenly followed.
Definitely, because, to an extent, Spurs, 9 points behind Chelsea, are still in the hunt. But that Arsenal win could just be the turning point for them. One hand on the trophy already.
I'm going to use another cliche over here. The fat lady's starting to clear her throat. But look, one hand on the trophy, because 9 points is a big gap. If Arsenal had beaten Chelsea, it would have made a lot of difference to Spurs. I don't think it wouldn't have done anything for Arsenal as in terms of the title race. It would have made sure Arsenal have a healthy gap in the race for top 4. But it would have reduced the gap between Spurs and Chelsea to 6 points, and that's 2 defeats.
Yeah.
And then that can happen. And that can also happen because, then Chelsea will start to feel the pressure. With a 9-point gap, they know they can lose a game here and there and still stroll to the title. Unless they have a ridiculously bad 3 months from here on end, there's no reason why they won't win the title. Collapses like Newcastle's don't happen that often. Plus,
not with this Chelsea.
No, and plus it's not Ferguson and Kevin Keegan. Ferguson not there to play mind games with Conte. And plus, Conte seems like the type who wouldn't get affected by mind games, to be honest. So look, I think Chelsea are going to stroll to the title. Spurs will be there, right there. But 3 and 4, anyone's call.
Let the big boys fight that out. In fact, why I say this Chelsea is unlikely for a collapse, it's because it's not just, they seem to be on a supremely new confident level. Hazard, after that magical goal of his, goes on to say, we went easy on Arsenal.
Yeah,
and that's classic trolling from a football player.
Absolutely, saying, we could have scored a couple of more, but we'll keep it for the next game. But look,
that's a good headspace to be in.
It's a great headspace to be in, knowing that, you've won 3-1, Giroud scoring in injury time. It could have been a 3-0 victory. And you've got enough in the tank. You've kept a lot in the tank to, if need be, step up your game. But it's a great headspace to be in. It shows that they've got that mentality of champions right now. You just grinding out results when need be, winning against your big opponents comprehensively. Look, it's been a terrific performance from Chelsea this year.
No, in fact, 2 of their signings who've been such crucial catalysts for the team, Kante and
David Luiz.
In fact, Luiz might not have even been the first choice, and that was sort of like bottom of the barrel, and all of a sudden he is their star. In the game against Arsenal, the 2 of them accounted for a huge amount of tackles and stops, which just goes on to show that, Conte, while he had luck at his side, he's really done a lot of his tinkering there.
No, he has. He's got his tactical. Once they moved to a back 3, it's really worked for them. Talking about Luiz, when he re-signed for Chelsea, there were rumors that he's not really Conte's signing. Yeah. Maybe he's Abramovich's signing. But whoever's signing he may be, he's really been outstanding this year. And it's worked. There was a time when Gary Neville called him, he was being controlled by a 7-year-old on FIFA. But that's no longer the case, because if it is, then whoever's controlling that 7-year-old is doing a mighty fine job. He's been excellent, David Luiz.
In fact, and how good is Kante? He might just win now 2 league titles back to back with different teams.
And one with Leicester and one with Chelsea. And if you look at the seasons that these 2 teams have had without Kante, it just tells you the story of how important he's been. When Claude Makelele played that holding midfielder's role, they came up with a name for that spot, calling the Makelele role. Now, I think, will they come up with a Kante, are you going to play the Kante role? He's been phenomenal. He's been the difference. I read a report where Ryan Giggs said that he wanted United to sign Kante, because he said, I've played against players of his type and they are the toughest opponents you can have. Again, if he's not in the running for Player of the Year, then there's something wrong.
Well, then definitely. In fact, I think everybody wanted to sign Kante. Arsenal apparently wanted him and
Yeah.
they went for Xhaka instead. Well, it does say a lot about, where Wenger is currently. He is under a lot of pressure. In fact, there was this very interesting infographic I came across where he has used the word mental strength so many times this season, some 300 times over the last 20 years, and now he's been using it a lot more this season, which just shows that he is really, really feeling the heat now.
Well, he is. I mean, but I think it's not just now. It's over the last couple of years. Because look, there was a time when you go to the Emirates now. I was going to say the Highbury, but when you go to the Emirates now, and because there's so much division between fans, like a huge population of those fans want Wenger out. So if things don't start off well, if they're drawing against one of the lower, lower teams, or if they're losing, the atmosphere in the stadium gets, poisonous, and that doesn't help. So he's obviously under pressure. In a way, you feel for the guy because he's done a lot for English football and for Arsenal. With the Invincibles, the double that he achieved with the FA Cup and the league. But it's been a while since they've. It's been what 13 years now since they won the league. I think it's not just the fact that you haven't won the league, but sometimes you come across by saying, listen, we've come in the top four, we've come in the top four, we've come in the top four. And if you ask fans, they say, look, we're not so bothered about a top four. We want to, if you had to sacrifice 3 years in the Champions League to have another league title, they'll take that. If you tell an Arsenal fan, okay, listen, it's been 13 years since you won the league, but how about if you take away 3 of those Champions League years, but give you another league title, they'll take it. That's what fans want, to win the league rather than, obviously you want to come in the Champions League because of more money, and you can strengthen your squad. Top players want to come and play the Champions League, so it helps you attract better players. But if you ask the fans, they want to win the league.
Right, speaking of managers and the heat, I think the sack race that we keep talking about, Ranieri is next. 1 point over relegation, past champions.
Crazy. I mean, the bookies have got him as favourite to be the next one to be sacked. But look, again, momentum. He's on a downward spiral. He needs to sort it out quickly. This could be one of those crazy seasons where your champions have got relegated, and also your champions who've got relegated have gone far in the Champions League.
But with this sort of a mental space that they are in, do you think they could do really well in the Champions League? It's February already, and
well, I think they could, because I think for some reason in the Champions League they have a different mindset right now. They play much better in the Champions League. So far in the group stages, they played better in the Champions League.
But they've had a relatively simpler draw there. So
so you'd expect them to go through. But look, they need to change they need to change the league form around. You wouldn't want Leicester to go down. Let's be honest. You wouldn't.
You have a little bit of an emotional investment with this kind of story they had last time.
Of course, and it just. And what this shows you is what a fairy tale it was last year. I mean, the fact that these guys are back to, in a sense, back to where they belong. I wouldn't say where they belong, but the previous year they avoided relegation under Nigel Pearson. And they get Ranieri in, and he wins the league, and now they're back to battling relegation. So is that the level they're at? And was last year just...
How much of an anomaly was last year? Okay, and before we end, we have to talk about... FPL tips, and this time whoever did not have Lukaku were the real losers.
I had Lukaku. Excuse me. I was going to make him captain. Last minute I said, listen.
That would have given you a major head start. 4 goals for him.
No, absolutely. And I went ahead and made Benteke captain, who did absolutely nothing.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I'll tell you one tip. Whatever I tell you on Fantasy Premier League, do the opposite. That's my tip. Do the opposite, because whatever I'm saying right now is not working for me.
Well, one more tip is to have Jesus in the team, because all the Jesus puns are validated after what he's done. 4 games, 3
Absolutely,
goals.
Jesus saves.
Keeping Aguero out, I think that's one person to have.
No, listen, if you can keep someone like Sergio Aguero out of the 11, that just goes to show what kind of talent this kid possesses. And it's frightening, because obviously Pep Guardiola rates him highly, and he's got goals, so he started off well. But the more he plays in, the better he's going to get. The more he's going to adapt to what the league's like. I think he's going to be a fantastic signing for Manchester City.
So we also keep him in our team, and we hopefully next time we have some good games, some games to match up to this, and this is to Spurs give us a title race.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, you want Spurs to keep winning, or you want Chelsea to drop points. You want Chelsea to have some sort of some sort of a fight going into the last 3-4 games of the league. But at the same time, let's hope Arsenal and Liverpool keep dropping
Right,
points,
so that
and
the
United keep winning.
Champions League challenge that the Manchester clubs seem to have, seem to contend themselves with. Well, that works.
Yeah, fingers
Well,
crossed.
Let's see. Hopefully, we must have a very interesting game week coming up. But for now, thanks Rohan for all
Thank
the
you,
tips,
Gina.
and thanks you all for joining in.